Hi, this is Heather K. Margolis with Channel Maven, and welcome to another episode of CMCtv. Today I'm joined by our very own Marilyn Rogers, our VP of Consulting and Digital Strategy. Thanks for joining.
It's great to be here, Heather.
So a lot of time when we talk about content, you are without a doubt the content maven, and everything content, technical or social or blogs or case studies, all of those things fall under your purview. So I don't even know how many pieces of content you have in your brain at one time. But what are the things that if someone's going and doing their own strategic content plan that they should be thinking about?
So first of all, Heather, especially at a large company, you need to think about your business case.
Right.
You need to get executive buy-in. You need to get buy-in from your peers. You need to socialize your ideas. You need to understand what the risks are and communicate what those risks are, and also communicate what success looks like. And if you have case studies, testimonials, anything to back up your plan, it's just a plus.
Right. So before you even put pen to paper, so to speak, because nobody uses a pen or paper anymore.
Exactly.
These are all things that you need to ensure that you have all this buy-in so that your piece of content is going to be as strong as possible.
Absolutely.
And it also makes me think about the revision process, because that can be such a rabbit hole that you go down. But if you have buy-in at the beginning, hopefully that revision process is not as challenging.
Right. It definitely mitigates those problems and sets you up for success in the long run.
Right. What's the next step? What's the next thing people should be thinking about?
So at that point, I would start building my business plan. And what that consists of is your audience, your high-level strategy. If you're going to use an agency, or if you're going to build your content in-house,
right.
What does your budget look like? All those pieces need to come together. And once again, you need to get that executive buy-in.
Absolutely. So when thinking about your audience, it's not just who they are as a target, but what their pain points are and what they're trying to solve for, and what their attention span is at the end of the day. Like a technical person is happy to read something cover to cover, whereas a sales or marketing person, you really need to make sure that you tell them what's in it for them right away.
Right. So you definitely need to define those customer personas. Who's your audience? What roles do they play in their organization? And what other aspects do you need to know about them as far as their demographics, their firmographics, anything else around your audience that can help you frame that content a certain way.
Right. So we have all of that squared away. Now is it time to put pen to paper?
Not quite yet, Heather. At this point, you should look at all the content that you currently have.
Right.
You should do a content audit and understand exactly what pieces of content work for these different audiences. And then you should also look at your funnel, your sales and marketing funnel.
What type of content do you need? If you have a ton that feeds the funnel, maybe you need some to nurture.
Right, exactly. You might have that top of the level content. You might have a lot of blogs. You might have social media, but you might not have that bottom of the funnel content.
Right.
Like some of the case studies, some of the testimonials.
Something to push them over the edge of making that decision.
Close that sale. So what I recommend doing is finding all that content, building on a spreadsheet. You know, we love spreadsheets in marketing, of course, and mapping all that content to your audience and mapping it to your funnel as well.
Totally. Great. Now are we putting pen to paper?
Almost. And then you need to look at your company messaging, your company brand. That content needs to tell a story, and it needs to tell a consistent story across your organization.
Right. Or if you're making a change somehow to your messaging or to a new solution, you need to tell your audience that this is different and this is why.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that storytelling is such an important part of your marketing strategy, and not just in words, right? Words can be very, very, very powerful, but images are more powerful in a lot of cases. Imagine
pictures worth 1,000 words.
Exactly.
But I would also say don't use something that's too stock photo-y, that like
Absolutely.
you know that 5 other companies have used this in the last 3 months.
Right. If you can take images of even employees at your company, just images of the town that you live in, any images that spark an emotional response, right? And it's best to use faces, because when you see people, you relate to people as well.
Yes. Now, are we putting pen to paper?
Yes.
Okay.
Start putting pen to paper at this point.
And so once you're actually going through the process of creating that content, is there something you do before you just start writing? Because my husband used to say when I first started blogging 11 years ago that I would literally vomit on the screen and he would have to go clean it up because it was stream of consciousness. So how should someone start writing?
Right. And that works for some people. The creative process is always different, right? Sometimes it's great to get down just that stream of consciousness, the brainstorming, and generate those ideas, right? But then if you put that into an outline and put it into a structured format, and then build out the content from that, and of course get buy-in from people in your organization.
All along the way. So
all
that you're
along
not
the way.
putting your heart and soul into 1,500 words and then not getting
Absolutely
the response you want.
Right.
Great. Anything else we should tell our viewers about when creating a strategic content plan?
I think one of the most important things to remember is just think about creativity. Don't always think about the analytics, and don't always think about the metrics. There needs to be a good mix. And once again, the audience is so important. Understanding the roles and mapping that content to the right audience, and really understanding who they are and having conversations with them.
Right. And doing, I think, what's right for the piece of content. So if it's a blog, there should be hyperlinks to other resources.
Exactly.
If it's a case study, it really should get to the heart of what the pain point was and what the challenge was for the organization that the case study is about, and what the outcome is. What are the results?
Right. And there should always be something actionable for whoever's reading that content.
Call to action.
Exactly. If there is no takeaway or no call to action, then it really will fall flat.
Well, and you've done so much work. Shouldn't you get something out of it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much for joining, and thanks to all of you for tuning in. Again, this is Heather K. Margolis with Channel Maven, and be sure to use the hashtag CMCtv.